Hey everyone, this is Eric from the Reptile Room, and today we're taking a little look at some Plains hognose snakes. These are gaining traction in the hobby. They're a pretty popular little snake. Part of what makes them so is that they actually don't get very huge, which makes housing them very reasonable. Generally speaking, if you have a smaller animal, you don't need as much room in your house to house said animal as opposed to something like the ball python, which, even though is a pretty small snake, is considerably larger than these. So let's start right here. This is Mr. Goose, and he's just a wild type hognose snake. This is how they look when you find them in the wild, and you don't have to go far. You'll find these guys as close as Alberta. That said, you can't have them as pets in Alberta because they are a protective native species. But here in BC, these are a-okay to keep, and we've just started working with these in the last couple of years. We've just produced some normals so far, but I love them. They are as cute as a button. They have that little upturned nose, thus the name hognose snake. And they really are just the drama queens of the snake world. I'm going to put him down. We're going to look at a little bit of a bigger one. This is Miss Kitty, and she is our female breeder, and she's just another wild type. She's a lot darker and more splotchy than Mr. Goose is, but this is just polygenic traits. The wild type varieties can all look pretty different from each other, depending on who you breed them to and how you line breed them, just outside of morphs completely, right? But they're lovely. They are technically a rear fang venomous, but they would have to really chew on you to get any significant amount of venom in you. It's more so an issue if you're a toad approximately this big. But as long as none of you are that, these would be a pretty good snake for you, I would imagine. But these are very dramatic. When these guys feel threatened, they're not terribly fast, so if they can't escape, they have a few tactics they'll use. First and foremost, they'll roll around and they'll show off this black and yellow belly. This isn't actually their first line. This is sort of their last line of defense, and they'll writhe around and play dead, essentially. It's called death feigning, and they'll even hang that mouth open with the tongue sticking out like and sometimes even bleed out of the mouth. They can do that intentionally by rupturing little blood vessels along their lip, just to make a predator look at that and go, yeah, I don't know if that's worth putting in my mouth. But aside from that, they will also pretend to be little rattlesnakes. They'll flatten out their heads so they look big and broad, and they'll hiss, but they actually hiss through their nose. He's actually doing it right now. So here we got him. So yeah, they'll flatten out, which now he doesn't want to do, of course. But you can see that color difference there, even though they're just wild type both. Now he sees Kitty. He's thinking about other things, which is okay because we're actually in breeding season for them. But they have these really rough scales that feel like a rattlesnake. They kind of look like a rattlesnake. They'll curl up their tail and kind of spring it around. And they'll even lunge at you, just to let you know they mean business. But they won't even open their mouth. They're just going to kind of slap you with their face, which doesn't really accomplish much other than making you think, oh no, this thing means business. But once you pick them up, immediately they just turn to, oh, well, you're not going to eat me. That's pretty rad. Where you going, buddy? Yeah. Now, what happened last year is we took Mr. Goose and we took Miss Kitty and we put them together, and we made sure that Miss Kitty didn't want to eat Mr. Goose because she's pretty opportunistic, but they do this little twitch that lets you know that they're thinking about other things than food, and that was a pretty good indicator for us. So we're going to roll them out of the way, and we're going to take a look at what came out of that. What a little baby. Now this guy was about half this size when he hatched. They hatch out tiny, and he's not terribly old. Come here, come here, come here. And my fingers don't work terribly well, but this is their little child. And we have a few of these available right now, and hopefully more coming. And we'll step into what's going on forward with these guys next. Okay, so moving forward with our hognose projects, we have this little fella here. This is an extreme red albino. His name is Ducky, and he's on the move. He's not quite ready to breed yet this year. He's still too little for that. Come on, buddy, calm down. But next year, we're hoping he'll be up to size. And you can actually see in albinos, which is properly known as amelanism, there's actually no melanin at all. This is what causes the dark colors and the black bellies. So he has this light belly, and it's recessive, so the babies that he sires are not immediately going to be albino, but if we hold some of those back and breed them back, then we can replicate that and get more albino. Now, his girlfriend, she is breeder size, and she's not hanging with him this year, but she does have her own fella, whose name is Capybara, and he's just a wild type. So this is my personal hognose, Miso, and she is a Dutch hypo. Hypo meaning there's less melanin, but it's not all gone. And she's a conda, which is this reduced spotting. Oh, hi, honey, I'm sorry. So she's a big girl. I'm hoping we get lots of eggs out of her. And those babies will be condas, like her, with the reduced spotting, because that's what we call an incomplete dominant trait. And then they'll all be heterozygous for the Dutch hypo, which is that reduction in dark coloration. Now, if I breed her and him together, we'll get condas that are het albino and het hypo. We grow those up, we breed them back, we get condas and super condas, which have no spots on them, and those will be basically hybino, which is albino and hypo together, makes them even lighter. So that's pretty exciting future plans, but this year still hoping to get some eggs out of her from Mr. Capybara. And then we'll have some condas at least available. But in the meantime, we do have the normals, so if you're interested in that, hit us up. And if you'd like to learn more, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And we'll have some hognose care videos coming out at some point in the future, anywho. Anyways, thanks guys, and we'll catch you in the next video. See ya.